I think we can all agree that you'll be hard-pressed to find any studio with a more respectable fighting history than Capcom. From reinventing the genre and reinvigorating the arcade scene with Street Fighter II to putting out high-quality releases time and time again. It does not matter if you're a 2D or 3D fighting fan, nor does it matter if you're into Darkstalkers, Street Fighter, Rival Schools, Marvel vs. Capcom, or heck, even Tatsunoko. If you like fighting games, chances are you've played and enjoyed at least one Capcom title. However, success breeds competition and imitators, which is how we received classics like King of Fighters or Mortal Kombat. But sometimes, success will also breed those seeking to profit off your hard work and name recognition. We've previously explored some of these examples with the Street Fighter II Bootlegs video. And believe me, when I tell you we've barely scratched the surface on that one. There are a lot more Street Fighter II bootlegs out there. But today, instead of taking a look at more Street Fighter bootlegs, we'll be taking a look at a much more obscure release. I'm sure at this point you've all heard about the Marvel vs. Capcom series of games, as well as its predecessor, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. You might have played the game on the arcade, or the near-perfect port on the Sega Saturn, or its downgraded but still good rendition on the original PlayStation. But did you know you can also play X-Men vs. Street Fighter on the 16-bit Super Nintendo? Yes, folks, this is real. Originally released in 1998 by bootleggers in Asia, X-Men vs. Street Fighter for the Super Nintendo is a real game that I can't play. Let's just talk about this for a second. I could not for the life of me get this game to run on any emulator. I tried Higan, B-SNES, Z-SNES, 2 versions of SNES 9X, Beasthawk, Madnefn, you name it, I tried it and none of them worked. So then I thought maybe the issue was with the ROM. So I downloaded the ROM from 5 different websites, but still the issue persisted. And that's when I discovered the most amazing thing about this game. This pirated copy of an official Capcom title, has a copy protection. I repeat, this bootleg game has a copy protection. I cannot make this shit up. I mean, just wow! Can you imagine even being the dudes who made this? You create a bootleg game using someone else's game, engine, assets, music, voice samples, and intellectual properties, put the game on a cartridge with the purpose of selling it to unsuspecting customers, and then you go ahead and put a copy protection on your bootleg cartridge? That has got to be the biggest power move I've ever seen. But in the end, I did get this game to run. And do you know how I managed that? You're not gonna like it. You know those websites where you can play NES and Super Nintendo ROMs online in your browser? Yeah, that worked. Look, it's either this or going online and buying a copy of this game. And I am not spending money on this. And neither should you for that matter. But at least I can finally play this game. So we start with the title music recycled from a different bootleg game. In this case, Soul Edge vs. Samurai Spirits. Oh, don't worry, we'll get around to covering this game someday. But back to X-Men vs. Street Fighter. This game is... well, just look at it. I don't think I've ever seen any fighting game run as choppy as this one. And I've reviewed 2 different versions of Tongue of the Fat Man. Heck, many of the NES Street Fighter bootlegs we took a look at before run better than this. I actually thought this might have been an issue with the emulation. So I tried playing a couple of fighters on the same website, and they all ran fine for me. I also checked out some gameplay videos on YouTube, and sure enough, the game looked super choppy on there too. So Yes, this is how it's supposed to run. And by God, it's awful. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You get 8 characters to choose from, 4 from Street Fighter and 4 from X-Men. What's funny is that even though this is supposed to be X-Men vs Street Fighter, not only do you not get every character from the arcade game, you also get some characters that weren't even in the official release. For example, in this version, you get to play as Iceman and Psylocke, whose sprites were clearly taken from X-Men Children of the Atom, and were not in the official release of X-Men vs Street Fighter. And you also get Chun-Li, who actually was in the official arcade game. But her sprites in this game were clearly ripped from Street Fighter Alpha 2. Most likely from the official SNES port of the game. Going back to the gameplay, you might have already noticed this, but sadly, the game's trademark tag team feature was removed, meaning that yes, this is just a one-on-one fighting game. Which, honestly, it kind of defeats the purpose of even making this an X-Men vs Street Fighter game. I mean, even the PS1 port would at least implement some sort of limited form of tag teaming. But this is just a regular fighting game. Oh, but don't worry, it gets worse. You see, through some internet searching, I discovered that this game is actually using the Street Fighter 2 World Warrior SNES engine. So essentially, all they did was take Street Fighter 2, replace a few characters, and made the combat far worse. Like I said, the frame rate is pretty low, and it's missing a ton of animations. But it's also missing any throwing moves. It's actually kind of weird. As far as I can tell, any bootleg fighting games that use this specific engine will often not have any grappling moves. Which is weird, because Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo had these. So I wonder why bootleggers had so much difficulty implementing it. The backgrounds were clearly taken from X-Men vs Street Fighter, but are completely static and feature no animation at all, which is a shame, as even Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo would feature animations in its backgrounds. And the music was clearly taken from the original Street Fighter 2. So if you like the X-Men vs Street Fighter soundtrack, well, you're out of luck. Another interesting thing is how all of the X-Men characters are using voice samples taken from Street Fighter 2. So for example, Psylocke is using Chun-Li's voice samples. And if you actually have her fight Chun-Li, you get this mess. The game also crashed on me a few times. Now granted, this could just be an emulation issue. But at this point, I'm willing to believe that's just how the game is. So, you know, how nice of them, I guess. Okay, so things aren't looking good. But what about the combat? Is the combat any good? I mean, okay, the frame rate is kind of iffy, but what about the rest of the game? Well, for starters, as you may well know, Street Fighter 2 pioneered in giving players the option to throw light, middle, and heavy punches or kicks. But this game goes for a much more, unique decision. Basically, if you're the type of gamer who likes to throw a combination of fast and heavy kicks or punches, then get ready for this earth-shattering gameplay change. It's not in this game. Yes, there are no light or middle punches or kicks. You only get one punch button and one kick button. That's it. Every other button on your controller serves absolutely no function. So yeah, if you ever wanted to play X-Men vs Street Fighter using one of these, then this is the game for you. God help you. Oh, but if you think that's bad, wait until you check out the combo system. And by that I mean, there isn't any. The combo system in this game, if you can call it that, is basically a succession of regular attacks you can throw, which will always hit because the game doesn't give you or your opponent a grace period whenever you're hit. I mean, yeah, that's pretty bad, guys. Hey, remember the final boss battle in X-Men vs Street Fighter? You know, the one where you fight against a giant apocalypse. I wonder how they managed that in this game. Oh, never mind. Yeah, you don't get any boss fights in this version. All you get is a final mirror match where they even managed to misspell the word congratulations. Because of course they did. Okay, so I usually don't like to make fun of games so long as they're decent. And in this case, this game is a bootleg, so you have to take that into consideration. But yeah, this game, it's pretty bad. It really is no exaggeration when I say a lot of the NES Street Fighter bootlegs I've played were better than this. I mean, sure, many of them had massive flickering, but at least they had a playable frame rate, and some of them were even quite decent. But this has no saving grace. Now, according to my research, and even some witnesses I've seen here and there, this game was actually sold physically in the South American market. I've seen Brazilian and Argentinian users saying they remember seeing this game for sale on fairs, markets, basically anywhere where you could buy bootleg games. And many did buy the game, as you can occasionally see a copy crop up on eBay. However, most copies you'll find today are actually reproduction cards, as the aforementioned copy protection was finally overcome in 2010? You're seriously telling me this dude's bootleg copy protection outlasted every official copy protection Capcom has ever made? Oh man, I love these guys! I don't even know what else to say. I mean, the game is terrible, but the story behind it is fascinating. And playing it is certainly... well, it's something alright. Oh, but we're still not done here, because the absolute mad lads also went ahead and created a Mega Drive port. I cannot make this shit up. Yes, lightning absolutely strikes twice, and this is proof. Unfortunately, as of 2020, the ROM for this game is still undumped, so the best I could find were a couple of videos on YouTube filmed with someone's phone. So, bear with me here. Well, obviously, there's not much I can go off of, as I only have shaky cam footage to go by. But I can at least tell you that the music is completely different. Instead of using songs from Street Fighter 2, it seems to be using an all-original soundtrack, though it does seem that it's using the High Seas Havoc sound engine. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but a lot of Mega Drive bootleg games use this game's sound engine, including Water Margin, Brave Battle Saga, and Canon Legend of the New Gods, all of which I've also reviewed on my channel. Wink wink nudge nudge. It also seems like this Mega Drive version has a smoother frame rate and even more frames of animation than its Super Nintendo counterpart, though it still looks pretty terrible. But sadly, that's about as far as I can get with this version, at least until someone actually dumps the ROM. Because until that happens, you're not even likely to find any reproduction cards of this one. Overall, I have to say that while the fact that this game exists on the Super Nintendo and Mega Drive is a neat little curiosity unto itself, I can't really recommend either of them. Sure, you might actually have some fun if you play them with the right frame of mind. But even if you were to buy them, they would end up being little more than novelty items at best. Hey everyone! Thank you for watching St1ka's Retro Corner. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video. All that fun social media stuff. And you can also support me on Patreon. It may not seem like it, but even $1 is a really big help in keeping this channel going. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Bye!